Now to an exclusive story you are seeing first here on CBS Mornings. Plus, the U.S. government has been clear it does not want Iran to have nuclear weapons. Over the years, the U.S. has implemented heavy sanctions on Iranian industries. That includes trying to stop tankers used to transfer Iranian oil to China, which could help fund Iranian nuclear development programs. And just yesterday, the U.S. Treasury Department imposed additional sanctions which Washington called the most extensive action of its kind since 2018. By the way, so far, those measures have not really been working as intended. A CBS News investigation reveals that China is still secretly buying Iranian oil and evading these sanctions. They're doing it by using a so-called dark fleet to transfer oil from ship to ship in the middle of the sea. Our investigation captured some of these secret transfers taking place off the coast of Malaysia. CBS News foreign correspondent Anna Coren has a look at the so-called dark fleet and how it operates.
Under clear skies at the break of dawn, we set off from Singapore, one of the busiest shipping ports in the world. We're heading to international waters, more than 80 nautical miles away, in search of the Dark Fleet, an armada of tankers carrying oil sanctioned by the US.
As long as there's a supply, there will be a demand for this discounted oil.
The supply is Iran, the demand is China. And this mutually beneficial relationship, which has long angered the United States, plays out off the coast of Malaysia, in the Riau archipelago, an area the size of New York City.
Where we are right now, this is Dark Fleet Parking Central.
Charlie Brown, ex-US Navy officer, now senior advisor with United Against a Nuclear Iran, advising the US government, has been monitoring the Dark Fleet for years. He spots one called Tiffany as soon as we enter the area.
It's a well-known Dark Fleet tanker that's always been out here on a regular basis.
The tankers, full of oil, sail from the Persian Gulf through the Straits of Malacca to the Riau archipelago. Here they transfer the crude to ships bound for China, which buys 90% of Iran's oil. On the horizon, we spot what we've come to find.
That's one right here.
Straight ahead?
Yeah, straight ahead. That one is too.
In fact, there are 4 ship-to-ship transfers happening just in our line of sight. As we approach, these Dark Fleet tankers, all with their transponders switched off, clearly do not want to be identified.
Both ships have a net or something, a tarp, deployed over the stern, covering the name and identification number. It's obvious deceptive practice.
Further analysis reveals the ship on the left is the elusive Stella Oracle, laden with Iranian oil. It was placed on the US sanctions list back in May. Close by, another ship-to-ship transfer is underway. Alps, not its real name, filled with Iranian crude, was also sanctioned in May. But it's the receiving vessel Eon, not on any list, that is caught in the act. We later discover we have found a new sanctions violator. According to a US Congress report last year, this trade generated as much as $70 billion for Iran, propping up the regime and its nuclear weapons program.
This is exactly what Scott Bessent has been talking about, China buying sanctioned Iranian oil. We are witnessing it in real time. Now, the Trump administration has imposed multiple rounds of sanctions on this trade this year, but as you can see from all the activity, it's having little effect.
By the end of the day, 12 ship-to-ship transfers were recorded in the Riau archipelago, an unprecedented number. A clear indication Iran and China are only ramping up this illicit activity.
And Anna Coren joins us now from Tokyo. Anna, I mean, what you captured is incredible. Seeing those 2 giant tankers next to each other looks like something out of a movie. So given the fact that there are U.S. sanctions on Iranian oil, how should that impact that transfer that you recorded?
Adriana, from the experts that we've spoken to today, they say it really won't change a thing. Yes, it will complicate the system for Iran and China. It will make it harder for them to evade detection, but they'll find a workaround. You know, different ships, false identities, manipulate transponders. It will be business as usual. The only way to stop this is enforcement. That is the Navy, the Coast Guard, and that's local authorities such as Malaysia. But to date, they have shown little incentive to actually act and help the US in cracking down on this trade.
Anna, I can understand what Iran gains from this. They are under heavy sanctions from the United States and others. But why does China choose to pursue oil in this way? What do they expect to gain out of it? And is it illegal?
As far as China's concerned, it is not illegal. They do not recognise these unilateral US sanctions on Iran. They say that their trade with Iran is legitimate. The state of China will say that it doesn't buy sanctioned oil. And in fact, these tankers transport the oil to these teapot refineries in Shandong province. These are independent refineries. But just to give you an idea of how much oil, that's 13% of China's yearly oil imports that come through this way. So this is a trade that China is not willing to give up either.
Yeah, that's a lot. I was actually going to ask you, why would China, adhere to U.S. imposed sanctions? And you just addressed that. But has there been any kind of shift in this kind of trade ever since the U.S. bombed Iran?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Adriana, because just to give you an example, last month we saw a record amount of oil exported from Iran to China. You're talking about 1.8 million barrels per day. This is during the Israel-Iran war. It did not miss a beat. And then the day that we went out earlier this week, it was unprecedented. We saw 12 ship-to-ship transfers, that took place that day. So this is a trade that is not going away anytime soon. The experts that we speak to say that Iran, in fact, needs China and this trade more than ever if it is going to rebuild its nuclear weapons program. And it would seem that that is what it intends to do, certainly by the activity in the Riau archipelago.
Yeah, incredible reporting there. China may not recognize those sanctions, but they are still covering up the names of the ships and the ID numbers. Anna Korn with some really incredible reporting for us this morning. Thank you, Anna. We appreciate it.